Hi everyone, welcome back to The Pretty Little Death, a channel devoted to reading and reviews and journaling our reads. I read a lot of books in 2023, and I figured what better way to start off my reviews than to look at some of the ones that I only recently finished, and recently I mean by the last 3 months. So my first one was Icebreaker. I loved this little comfy read. This is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. It is a traditionally published book. This is a special edition cover from my book club. This was actually not a book of the month read. None of these were book of the month reads, to be perfectly honest. But I did finish this one, so I figured it was a great option to start with. Our synopsis is Anastasia Allen has worked her entire life for a shot at Team USA. It looks like everything is going according to plan when she gets a full ride scholarship to University of California, Maple Hills, and lands a place on their competitive figure skating team. Nothing will stand in our way, not even the captain of the hockey team, Nate Hawkins. Nate's focus as team captain is on keeping his team on the ice, which is tricky when a facilities mishap means that they are forced to share a rink with the figure skating team, including Anastasia, who clearly can't stand him. But when Anastasia's skating partner faces an uncertain future, she may have to look to Nate to take her shot. Sparks fly, but Anastasia isn't worried, because she could never like a hockey player, right? So, basically, figure skater and a hockey team captain. It's the plot from the 1992 rom-com, if you want to call it that. It's kind of lukewarm movie, The Cutting Edge, which is a figure skater and a hockey player trying to get on Team USA. Like, that's the whole premise, and they fall in love. That's what happens here. So what did I like? It is a contemporary college sports romance. I like that the female character, Stacy or Stassi, I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. She's very sure of herself, and I do like a strong female character, but not strong like, oh, I'm tough, as hard as nails. She is that, but it's not explicitly said right off the bat that that's who she is. It's more of a show, not a tell. I do like her. She is very nice. Nate is the main male lead, and what I liked about him is that he's very responsible and kind. He does kind of he takes the whole hockey team as his family, and he does kind of become that responsible party for the team. He doesn't really push boundaries, and honestly, this turns out to be a fairly healthy relationship as far as romance novel relationships go. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I did enjoy it. But what I don't like, there were a lot of characters in this story. There's an entire hockey team. You get to know, or at least introduced to quite a few of them. And sometimes it's really easy to lose who is who and who is what in the book because there are so many characters. I also don't have a lot of love for an academia set story, or sports for that matter. I do tend to go darker myself, but whatever. This is a nice, comfy, easy read. And I love the fact that it was actually edited. Like, you can tell somebody took some time that had no skin in the game to make sure that this came out right. Yeah, it's fantastic. This is a good read. Was it smutty? No. There are scenes in it, but it's most certainly in the romance category, not in the smut category. Is it lighthearted? Yes. For the most part, anyway. There is some strife, as a good story is arced. There is some strife in here. It does come out in a happy ever after, and it's honestly not that bad. Is it a series? Yes. This is the first book in a series called the Maple Hills novels. In fact, this was the ancillary purchase to the book of the month. I did not finish this. I may finish it. As you can see, I did try to annotate some things, but my annotations are not always what they're hoping for in this guide. But yes, this is a series. It is another set of characters that were, well, at least one of them was introduced in this. I may actually finish this and then do a review on it, but at this time, I just did not finish. I got, let's see, I didn't even get 100 pages in before I gave up. I got to page 69. Yeah. So, yes, it is a series. There is a third one coming out, at least a third one, per the author. Yeah. This book, Icebreaker, was 429 pages long. So if you were looking for a longer book, this might be your ticket. It is written in first person, and I don't like first person. I am a traditional reader. I like the third person. I mean, I feel like everything is in the first person because Twilight was in the first person. And it was, well, we'll not go there. Anyways, so our next book is Sarah Blue, Charming the Devil. It is a self-published book. And if you're ever wondering how to tell whether or not something is self-published or traditionally published, you can always open up your cover and look right in here. It usually has the publishing information on it. The synopsis reads, Lilith knew her fate upon death, even if her wrongdoings were ones rooted in vengeance. She didn't know what to expect once becoming a resident of hell, but falling in love with the devil himself wasn't part of the plan. Lucifer has a throne to uphold, and nothing can distract him from making all of his subjects fear and respect him. He tries to keep his distance from the one person in hell who has made him feel again, but the temptation keeps growing. Maybe, just for her, he can show his soft side. So this basically starts with twins who die at the same time, one going to heaven, one going to hell, and then the devil falls in love with the one in hell. I don't really have anything that is like this. It was not as dark as I anticipated. Let's put it that way. What did I like? I love a good dark romance. This does deal with some heavier topics, like what it is to juggle expectations, as well as what it's like to juggle loss. I also like how the main male character allows the female lead to find her footing in the situation she finds herself in. What I don't like. This is the second book in a series. And I didn't know that when I got it. It was part of a package, so I thought, okay, this will be a good Halloween read. It was very cute. I'll put it that way. It was very cute. But this, because it does set in a series, this takes place before the first book and after the first book. It's like it's before and after the story in the first book. Different characters which you do meet in this one, but because I feel like this was meant to be read second, there's a repertoire set up already between the characters that I was just not let in on. Those characters do pop in and out, and one of the other things I don't like is I don't understand why there is a Spotify playlist in this book. This is not a movie. This is a book. Like, it shouldn't have a soundtrack. I don't know about anybody else, but it's very hard to listen to music with lyrics and read. I can't do that. Yeah. So, yeah, was it smutty? Yes, but it did lean more towards the romance side of things. But was it lighthearted? Yes, it was a pining type of love story. There are a lot of things that go on in this, but it was actually very well written. I can say that it was very well written. Is it a series? Yes, as I said, this is the second book. The third one came out in October of 23. Am I going to read it? Probably not. But that's something that I'll bring up in a later video. It is 365 pages long. It is a larger type Like the type is larger. And I'm not quite sure why books are this size anymore. Like this is like an A5, A6. I think it's an A6. Maybe A5. Size. I don't know why books are being published like this. I'm used to books. Yeah, so our third book is Den of Vipers, K.A. Knight, and the synopsis reads as thus. Writer Garrett, Kenzo, and Diesel, the Vipers. They run this town and everyone in it. Their deals are as sordid as their business, and their reputation is enough to bring a grown man to his knees, forcing him to beg for mercy. They are not people you mess with, yet my dad did. The old man ran up a debt with them, and then sold me to cover his losses. Yes, sold me. They own me now. I'm theirs in every sense of the word, but I've never been meek and compliant. These men, they look at me with longing. Their scarred, blood-stained hands hold me tight. They want everything I am, everything I have to give, and won't stop until they get that. They can own my body, but they will never have my heart. The Vipers, I'm going to make them regret the day they took me. This girl, she bites too. 18 plus reverse harem romance. Let's be honest. Let's cut the crap. It's just a harem romance. Like, there's no such thing as a reverse harem. Warning, this book contains scenes and references of abuse, assault that some readers may find triggering, along with graphic sex scenes and violence. This is a dark book. I really wanted to like this book. This was a recommendation from my best friend. And, basically, it's a Mary Sue meets 4 other Mary Sues that can only really be told apart from how they refer to the female lead. It mentions sordid business. They run gambling halls. It's trying to be like a mafia story. And that's basically where all the conflict is in mafia-esque type thing, but it's not. It doesn't pull off any of that charm. Yeah, like all of the male leads are they blend into one another. If they're not calling the female lead by their specific pet name for her, then you don't know who the hell they are. Like, really. Like, they have a little backstory for each of them, but like it's all very surface. I'm trying not to give spoilers, but like there's just a lot wrong with this that an editor, a real editor, not a proofreader, but an actual editor could have helped with. So what I liked, not much. I was ready to D and F by page 10. I did finish it. But one of the good things was that the smut actually started right away. So if you're looking for a smutty book, this is the book. What I didn't like. The smut train did not stop. Usually to the detriment of the story, whatever thin line of story there was, the smut train just went on. For instance, there's a scene involving a knife. I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, there was a knife, okay? And not in the way you think it's gonna be. Honestly, like, every time some kind of adversary came up for these characters, they could not fail. They just, like, immediately overcame it. And I was sitting there like, what the heck is going on? Like, there's no suspense. There's nothing. And you would expect something as toting itself as a dark read, there would be some suspense, and there's really not. There are so many misdirections in the story that it really does make the head whirl. So I feel like the characters we started with were not the characters we ended with, and not in a like character development kind of way. Like, the growth in these characters it's super, super quick. It's like a fan fiction with a gloss over it. Okay. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, you're reading it and it's like, honestly, like a fan fiction. In fact, my best friend was like, it's a Harley Quinn, Joker, Bane, Two-Face with 2 characters being each one of the Two-Faces fan fiction. And because of the pacing of this story, like, there was enough pages to really have a nice story. And it was just, it wasn't there. It more often than not, I got the sense that the writer had sat down to start writing, got a couple of chapters in, stopped somewhere in that process, and then author came back, picked it up maybe a couple of years later with a totally different mental image of where these characters, who these people were supposed to be. I did finish it though. Again, a lot of Mary Sue's. I don't honestly want to read a story where every time two leads interact, they're just going on about how perfect the female is. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. About 76% in, there was a scene where I basically was like, yeah, she hit a grenade with a baseball bat back at the person who threw it. Like, it was just like one of those things where I'm just like, really? So, was it smutty? Yes. Oh my gosh, there is not a lack of smut, okay? Was it lighthearted? I think it was trying not to be, but it was just so absolutely ridiculous that it was hard not to be, like, just laugh-worthy. Is this a series? No. Thank goodness. It was 654 pages long. It did take me a while to get through this because there were, like, at 76, I remember going to lunch this last Saturday saying, oh my gosh, I'm at 76%. I'm almost done with this thing. She hit a grenade with a bat, and my best friend was like, oh, you're almost done. Like, you should just finish it out. You could finish it out real quick. And I'm like, I don't want to. Yeah. So overall, I liked 2 of these books. And for different reasons. I will admit that. I did like Icebreaker and Charm the Devil, both for different reasons. They're not, like, Icebreaker wasn't really my thing. I didn't actually expect to like Icebreaker. I did finish it. I didn't think I was going to when I picked it up, and I was like, oh. But I did finish it. I finished both of them. I liked both of them. And the one book that I was expecting to love, that to be my top book of the year, just was awful. Yeah. So, I think I'm going to do a review video. I'm going to try and do one once a week, maybe twice a week. It depends on how many books I can get through. In the comments, go ahead and leave your recommendations if you have a book. It doesn't have to be a smutty romance novel. It can be anything. Hopefully it's not a tech manual. I will read it, but the review for that will be kind of different because I might not have a knowledge base on that. Also, if you have some other criteria for me to review a book against, I would love to see that. I am trying some rating systems. I think I'm going to implement them in January, but I'm always open to suggestions. So yeah, keep reading, my friends, and find that perfect, pretty little death for yourself.